Prince Edward County. The county. Peck. What is it? Where is it? Why is it so popular? We're going to talk about that, and stick around to the end because there's one thing you need to know about, and I make sure to tell this to everybody that's thinking about relocating to this area. Hi, my name is Jeremy Tremblay. I'm a local realtor here in the Belleville and surrounding areas. And today we're going to talk about Prince Edward County. It's become quite a popular spot. You're seeing news articles down from Toronto. You're seeing down in the States, you're going to find news articles about this place. If you have any questions after this video, reach out. My number is going to be down below in the description, my email. I'd be happy to chat with you. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I will do future videos and I tend to answer a lot of the questions I get in these so we can get it all wrapped up in one. All right, let's get to it. So to answer the question first off of why is Prince Edward County so popular? If you come down here, if you've been here before, you'll know that they've got fantastic beaches. That's one reason why people, especially from Toronto, where everything is just so densely populated, they don't have these options, and they can just drive up the 401 and jump down to the county and get to the provincial parks. The Sandbanks Provincial Park is by far the most popular. It has got a very long stretch of beach that you can go, the sand dunes. It's pretty fantastic, and it's well set up for tourists. And then also you've got North Beach, which is also a great option. And amongst those, you've got a lot of restaurants, a lot of like chip stands and such. So a lot of people will come here and just make a day of it. The other reason would be the wineries. There are over 40 wineries in the county. And yeah, they're quite popular. There are also breweries. And if you're coming here, you could easily spend an entire day doing wine tours, going all around to them and tastings. And so they've become quite popular. There are a lot of international awards from the wineries in this area, and it continues to kind of grow their reputation. Also, with that, like I said, there's a lot to do in each individual day. Airbnbs. Airbnb properties have grown quite heavily in the last number of years, so there are options to stay here. And so you mix all those together and you got a lot of tourist attractions. So people like to come, spend the weekends. During the summer, it's a pretty busy place. Now, because of that tourist destination and attraction, a lot of people have considered this place in terms of relocating. And one of the big reasons is just the quieter and slower pace of life. The way the county is set up, you can drive around and you can hear the water, you can hear the waves, and you have a lot of nature. There's no highly built up areas, so it's not noisy really anywhere you go. And that's very attractive to people that are coming from a bigger city. And yeah, ultimately, it has a lot of people questioning, maybe I can move to the county. So with that, let's look at what the county has to offer. First, we're going to look at where Prince Edward County is on the map. If you're watching this video, you likely know already because you've likely visited, but if not, I want to make sure everyone is aware. So we have Toronto, GTA right here as a kind of so you can see in relation. Ottawa up here. The 401, you go along, you hit Belleville, Trenton, and then right below you have Prince Edward County, right on the lake. It takes roughly an hour to an hour and a half to get from the GTA area right over here to Trenton. And then depending on where you're going into the county, it doesn't take very long, but it can take an extra half an hour to get down to the beaches. As we go in here, there are a few cities, few towns in the area. So overall, the population of the county is roughly 25,000. As you come through off the 401, you'll go through Trenton area. You'll hit Carrying Place, and the first town would be Consacon, not very big. You drive right through that quite quickly. As you keep driving, you'll hit Wellington. So if you're going to North Beach area, that's the town that you're going to go through. And then you continue on and you will get to Bloomfield. And then further along is Picton, which is kind of the main town. You'll see here with Picton in relation to the beaches. So I mentioned North Beach, and then you've got the Sandbanks Provincial Park. And so not very far, you're 10, 15 minutes to get from the beach back to town. Picton is kind of the main town that people are living in. So it has a population roughly about 5,000 within the city limits, but it has everything that you need within the town. It has a hospital currently. They do have a project underway and fundraising underway to raise money for a new center. There's currently a timeline. I think they're looking to break ground next year in 2024 to service that area and the growing population there. They've got grocery stores. It's got a really nice downtown, which you'd expect from a town that has a lot of tourists. A lot of nice shops on their downtown area along the water. They've got the river there. So it's quite nice. And that's why people are attracted to the Picton area. Now, you can come back out here and you'll see Belleville up here. This is the main area where a lot of people are working. And so if you're not working remotely, then you're going to have to commute to either Belleville, Quinte West area. So you're coming up Highway 62. You're going to run into Rossmore. That's kind of the first little town that you'll hit as you're coming into the county from Belleville. The time it takes to get from Picton. So let's look at that just so you have a rough idea. So if I were to go from Belleville, Ontario to Picton, it's going to take you roughly half an hour to get there. And that there isn't much more beyond here, like a lot of farmlands and such, but not many in terms of housing. So half an hour would be your gauge. It takes a little bit longer to get over towards Quinte West. You also want to consider if you are going to be commuting and not working in Belleville, if you have to go down towards Toronto every once in a while, how long it takes to get to the 401. One way to look at that would be the Walmart is actually right along the 401 in Belleville, and that will give you a rough idea. And it takes that little bit more to get through there. So 10 minutes further. So in total, about 40 minutes to get from Picton up to the 401 if you're going to be commuting. The other thing to note is access onto this island. So Belleville, there's the Bay Bridge. This is the main bridge that people are going to be using to get in and out of the county into Belleville. It's really not too bad in terms of congestion very often, but this Highway 62 that divides Belleville also is the main artery that people are going to be traveling out of the county. The other way, as we mentioned, is if you're coming in through Trenton, Quinte West area, is that there's going to be a bridge down in Carrying Place, and the locks is what they are. You want to be aware because this one here can get a little bit more congested, and it has a bridge that moves around, and so the boats can come and go. So if you get caught at the wrong time, you may have to wait. They usually don't open the bridge for very long. It's only a few minutes to get the boats by, but something to be aware of. The only other bridge, if you're going to be heading east, heading out of the county, there's the Skyway Bridge right over here. It does not get busy at all. You can use that one, and it's not very busy. The only thing to take note of, though, of course, is if there is something going on in terms of construction at one of these bridges, well, of course, it's quite a drive, quite a trek to get to the next one over. So you want to be aware of that if you're going to be looking to relocate here, but still having to do some commuting. So the real estate in Prince Edward County, what does it look like? As I mentioned, there are a lot of wineries in the area. There are also a lot of farming. So when this area wasn't so popular, there were a lot of farms, a lot of smaller homes. It was not an expensive place to live back in the day. And that's what you'll see in some of these smaller towns. The existing homes are smaller. But now things are being built up a lot more. And those that are coming and relocating and wanting to make their primary residence in the county, they're coming with a higher budget. So all the new builds that you're seeing tend to be much more expensive. Anything along the water, of course, naturally is going to be that much more expensive. And so it's not necessarily considered affordable when comparing it to areas like Trenton and Belleville. And so a lot of people that are relocating and want to experience the county on a regular basis are choosing to move towards the Belleville, Trenton areas. That way they know on a daily basis. They can drive and experience everything the county has to offer. But if you are looking to move directly into the county, be aware of the pricing, availability. They are building more. You're not seeing huge subdivisions going down in the county, so don't expect to see what you'd expect at other cities. But you're seeing builds that are near the water, custom builds. You can try and get some lots, but very rare. There aren't a lot of lots that come available. One thing you want to be aware of, what I get this all the time from people, is I'll buy a house, secondary residence, and then I will just use it for Airbnb, which will pay for itself. Well, a lot of people did that. You'll see here, there are over 900 Airbnbs currently licensed in the county. Well, they made some changes. They recognized that there were far too many coming along, and so they put a cap on that. And they are no longer issuing new licenses for Airbnbs. So any homes that currently have a license, they're grandfathered. If they are sold, that license can be transferred to the new owner. But if you're buying solely for that purpose of a secondary residence, just know that you can't use it as a regular Airbnb. The fines are quite hefty. If you actually go ahead and do that for one night without a license, the fine starts at $10,000. The second night, $15,000, and it goes up to $20,000. So you really want to be aware of this and work with someone that knows the rules that are there. Now, if you buy a home and it's your primary residence, there is a little bit of an opening there that you can use it for 45 days a year for Airbnb. And so if you think that you might not be there for parts of the year and you want to be able to make money, there's still a huge demand for the Airbnbs from all the tourists we talked about. So that's one option that you can use as well. Another thing to be aware of if you're going to be moving to this area is the internet. A lot of people are coming here to work, and they, like I mentioned, they might commute a day a week or so, but they work from home for the rest of the time. The internet in the county, as you can imagine, it's more of a rural area. They are working on it. You'll see here, there are a lot of projects in the works to improve the infrastructure of the high-speed internet access in the area. But as of right now, for the majority of the areas, something like Stirling is your best option, which is a good option. The internet actually is quite good from those I know that have been using it in the area. They will work from home without issues. But be very aware, if you're going to look at a house and you're expecting to have high speed 5 internet, that's not an option everywhere in the county as of today, which is mid 2023. And finally, as I mentioned in the beginning, the weather. So you see pictures of the county and it looks beautiful. You've got the sandy beaches, you've got the wineries, you've got the county fair that's happening down in Picton, which has been going on for a long time, and it just looks fantastic. The one thing you don't see as much is what can happen in the winter. So if you look at some news articles from last winter around Christmas time, there's a lot of snow that can hit that area. And it's mainly because of where it is. It's sticking out into the lake and they get that crosswind. And yeah, they had snow last winter that's basically shut down the whole place. There was no way of getting in or out. It cut back all the hydro. Even the plows couldn't do anything for a few days. There was just so much. Now, they're very short little stints. It melts. The weather, it doesn't stay really the entire winter. It kind of has a lot of freeze-thaw cycles, but you really want to be aware of what the winters are like. And the closer you are to the water, you constantly have that wind, which is blowing snow across. You've got snow drifts across these open areas. So as you're driving around roads, because there's no forest on either side, it's just open fields, you can have huge snow drifts. And so when you think you're going to be going one way, well, you'll quickly find out that road can be closed because of the snow drifts. And this can be a surprise to a lot of people that have only ever come here for the tourist aspect of the county. And so it's not quite as bad in Belleville and Trenton, like I mentioned. So that's why a lot of people like to move to those areas and just enjoy the county. But if you want to move there, I always tell people right away about the internet and the weather in the winter. And I say, if you can take that, then let's go to it. If you have any other questions that I haven't answered in this video, like I said, my name's Jeremy Tremblay. My information's down below, my number, my email. I would love to talk. I have people calling me all the time, asking me questions, just inquiring as to what's going on in your area. What is the housing market like? What are the prices like? Well, give me a call. I love to chat about it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll put some more videos up, kind of giving you more information. But until then, have a good one.